All right, wasted world of sports, ahoy. What a somber moment to be diving into the live stream. Welcome along, everybody, as Fox Sports has a tribute to Paul Green. Paul Green might not have been the biggest fan of his, but, in recent years, when he was coaching Queensland and all, me being a Blues supporter, but this goes beyond fandom, doesn't it? This is human life we're talking about, and, geez, some of these people that are passing away, Warney and now Paul Green, as you start to get older in life, reality starts to sink in, and some of these passings are hitting a little bit too close to home for my liking. Let me just say that. But anyways, let's not turn this into a thing about me, even though this is my live stream. Welcome along, everybody, though. Manly Rep, ahoy there. Trevor Daly says, probably the hardest game to pick a winner this year, but Trevor is going for the Storm. Yeah, it's a tough one this week, and especially what makes it even more difficult is both teams have got quite a few outs. Both teams suffering in that respect. Who is suffering more? That's probably what it comes down to. Because look at the outs. So, obviously, the Storm are already missing Pappenhausen. But Uramia, Kafusi, Jahrome Hughes. For the Panthers, Fisher-Harris suspended. Of course, obviously, we don't need to even mention Cleary and Luai. But Taylor May out now. Dylan Edwards, a very well. Last minute, he was ruled out. Last minute, I think they knew about it. I think he was a 50-50 at absolute best of playing tonight. An absolute best 50-50. So I think they would have been training all week without him. All the preparation would have been without him. So Dylan Edwards, whilst he's a huge loss for the team, step up. Charlie Staines would have been practicing all week with the team in the fullback position because they would have known that Dylan Edwards was very likely to not be playing this week. He got hammered last week, absolutely. Matthew S., ahoy there, welcome along. What an effort he put in last week, Dylan Edwards. Man of the match performance, surely. If he didn't get man of the match, I would be very surprised. I would have to ask some serious questions about what the what makes you a man of the match if Dylan Edwards did not get it last week. He got hammered from pillar to post, and he just kept getting up again and pulling off big plays. So the guy needed a rest. Vobsy, ahoy there, mate. Vobsy says, I hate betting last week. I was robbed. Well, you weren't robbed. Well, hang on. Who did the Tigers play? The Knights. I don't think you were robbed by the Tigers. You bet on the Tigers at your own peril. I've been saying this all season. Tigers, Warriors, who else? Tigers and Warriors especially, though, are two teams. Parramatta, Tigers, Warriors, Parramatta. You bet on those three teams at your own peril. I still haven't forgiven Parramatta for that $200. It's only $200, but I still haven't forgiven them for costing me that earlier in the season. The Manly Rep says Dylan Edwards could get fullback of the year. I would go as far as to say should get fullback of the year. We don't have all that long to go in the season. Finals are just around the corner, only a few weeks away. And finals probably go towards figuring that out as well, I dare say. But Dylan Edwards has got to be heads and shoulders above the rest at this particular point in time. You think Tommy Turbo gets fullback of the year despite playing less than half the season? It could happen. It could happen. I'm not going to lie. It could happen because for those games that he did play, he was pretty bloody good, wasn't he? As you would expect. Tommy Turbo is Tommy Turbo. So wasn't there a period of time where he was He was the highest try scorer for Manly anyway, I think. He'd just come back from injury. Was this last season? When he came back from injury last season and he just absolutely blitzed. And then suddenly Manly went on a bit of a run towards the finals. Yeah. He was the top try scorer or something, and he'd only played like half as many games as everybody else. It was insane. He had an insane year last year. I'll tell you what, Tommy Turbo is probably one of the greatest fullbacks to ever play the game, but the poor son of a bitch is just made of matchsticks, isn't he? He just keeps breaking. So much potential, but yeah, you'd have to think twice about. And every club would want him, I'm sure. But geez, surely there are some owners and board members at some clubs that would have to think twice about it. It's a lot of money to pay for somebody who's going to spend half the season on the sideline. But anyway, I digress. It's all about this game tonight. This is a preview, I dare say, of the preliminary final, one of the preliminary finals. And it's a very interesting one because both teams, as I was in the process of saying, both teams have got a lot of guys out. So it's going to be who handles that the best, to state the obvious. Who handles the outs the best? And it just evens up. It evens up just a little bit more, this game. Evens up just a smidge more with Dylan Edwards, a last-minute exclusion from the team. But as I was saying, I say last minute, I'm pretty sure they knew he wasn't playing. They would have been training all week for the absence of Dylan Edwards. And if he decided to play, if he got cleared to play, it would have been a bonus. So it is what it is. Cameron Munster, there, he has to have a big game tonight for Melbourne. Melbourne missing a few as well, of course. Jahrome Hughes, a big out. A huge out for the Storm. Vobsy says Teddy should get fullback of the year by default every year for having such a fantastic ass. Am I right? And for exposing it to us every other weekend. And here come the Panthers. They've made the Storm wait. They're playing some mind games early on here tonight. Making the Storm wait out on the field. We're the home side. We will come out onto the field when we're good and ready. And apparently they're good and ready now. Here they are. And the officials run out the back afterwards as if anybody cares about that. Oh, okay. We are going to be having a minute's silence for Paul Green. Yes, a big cheers to Paul Green. All right, I've got to shut the hell up for a moment. You're welcome. It's that fine line between trying to be respectful but also acknowledging you have a job to do. So obviously, it was a moment's silence for the late, great Paul Green. Used to play for my club, of course, the Sharkies, back in the day. I do have an autograph somewhere on some of my merchandise. I'm quite sure of that. That was back in Paul Green and Mitch Healy, and they used to constantly put the high ball up. The masters of the bomb were the Cronulla Sharks back in that era, kicking the high ball out for Peachy. David Peachy was the fullback. They had a very simple game plan. Get close enough, put the ball high into the end goal, out-jump the opposition and score a try. They brought that into the... Well, they didn't bring it into the game. They mastered it during that era. And we are... Whoops! Oh, I've spilt my drink already. 5 seconds after kickoff. That's got to be some sort of record. The drink is spilt. But we're underway in this one. Storm with the kickoff. Panthers' first use of the ball. There's a random South fan in the crowd. Of course there is. Of course there is. I'd be disappointed if there wasn't. Karma Chameleon making a big tackle there. Liam Martin. Now there's a man that needs to step up tonight. Liam Martin. Step up and lead from the front in the absence of Fisher Harris. And we've got an early kick from O'Sullivan on the 4th. It's trapped by Xavier Coates. It's like he's playing soccer. And that works out very well for Melbourne. They're starting their first set in very good territory. Justin Olam with the hit up. And they're up over halfway on tackle 3. And an offload, cheeky offload there to Harry Grant. Munster keeps it alive to Meaney. And they're up to the 30-metre line here, and this is a dream start for Melbourne. Grant goes blindside, realises nothing's on, brings it back open side. And Brandon Smith, the cheese, trying to milk a penalty on the 5th and last. 5th and last, speaking of high balls, Xavier Coates is up and out jumps and knocks the ball on. Good start there from the Storm, though. Only 2 minutes gone in this game, but on top early. But they have to be. The Storm, if you notice their starting team, if you've had a look that much into it, they've kind of been forced into it with injuries and whatnot, injuries, suspensions, whatever has been going on. They've kind of been forced into the scenario where a lot of their reserves, their typical reserves, Brandon Smith is not usually on the field to start the game, for example. So a lot of their reserves are starting the contest tonight. They need to get themselves ahead. They need to get themselves ahead by a comfortable margin in this first half, maybe in the first quarter, first 30 minutes, let's say. The Storm need to get themselves in a position where they can start defending the game a little bit and dictating the pace. Because they've got a completely backwards game plan tonight, so they need to be charging out of the blocks here, and that's certainly what it appears that they're doing so far. They are definitely up in defense, but this is a better position for the Panthers in their second set of defense. Storm on tackle 3, just bringing it up over the 40-metre line, 30-metre line now. Sorry, a big Nass just bumps off Coruscant. Bumps him off like he's not there. Fifth and last, just their own side of halfway. Munster puts the kick in. It's hanging in the air. It's a hard take. But To'o takes it. And Charlie Staines, as always, driven backwards in the tackle. He's bulked up a bit this year, but he's still quite little in comparison to everybody else. I mean, Brian To'o's not exactly a monster of a man either, of course, but, I mean, what he lacks in height, he makes up for in just general size. Like, do not mistake, Brian To'o is a big unit. Penrith now on the 5th and last, Liam Martin. That's the sort of run that he needs to come up with, breaking the first tackle. Fifth and last, they're inside Storm territory for the first time I can remember. Running on the fifth and last, O'Sullivan. They find space. Sean O'Sullivan has started that. A blindside run on the fifth and last. Now that takes balls the size of grapefruits, that does. And the Storm are now pinned down in their own territory. And that is how you swing momentum in a game. They don't need Nathan Cleary. Sean O'Sullivan is there. And what a gain he is for the Dolphins next season. Fifth and last, and taking a little dart down the blind side. Created space for his winger out there. Would have been Taruva out there. I think. Oh, actually, that's To'o's wing. To'o would have had some space. Now there's space in behind the Panthers. The kick goes into touch. Probably not what they necessarily would have wanted there. Harry Grant would have wanted that to stay in play. And now the Fox Sports commentators have essentially just repeated what I said 5 minutes ago about Melbourne Storm's strategy tonight and playing from the front. Go me. I'm pretty pleased with that moment. I was like 5 minutes ahead of the actual Fox Sports commentary with some insight, some valuable insight into the game. I've got to be pretty proud of that, right? And here we are, Panthers ball on the back of what was a great end of set last time out. It gives them good territory again here now on tackle 4. Isaiah Yeo. He needs to lead from the front tonight. Coruscant out of dummy half. O'Sullivan and Eisenhuth. It's fifth and last now, 30 out. And they have just swung the momentum just a little bit here on the back of that. O'Sullivan, high ball this time, pressure on Coates, but that is not the... Xavier Coates is not the man you want to be kicking the high ball to. Let's be honest about that. Xavier Coates is not the man to target with high balls. He will take those all day, every day, 99.9% of the time, and you will never see it. Cameron Munster with a knock on. Oh, what a huge mistake. Does he want to challenge? Does he want to challenge? No, he doesn't. He has accepted it. The advice from the Caterpillar on his top lip is, no, mate. Well, let's not challenge that one. Let's move on. And here is the first chance of the game for either team. Big opportunity here. Penrith, a scrum, 20 metres out midfield. A full set of 6. They go to the right. O'Sullivan out the back to Salmon, who dummies and goes on his own and is crunched. Absolutely crunched by Justin Olam. And what a crunching tackle, forcing the error. And on tackle 1, that big mistake from Cameron Munster has been nullified. It was stripped out. It was definitely stripped out, but it would have been a risky challenge. On tackle 1, and they are not happy now. The Panthers in defense racing up off the line. Absolutely unbelievable. That's very reminiscent of the preliminary final last year, isn't it? When the Panthers got a scrum in great attacking opportunity, and Storm actually pushed in the scrum and they knocked it on from the base. And it just seems to be a recurring theme here. Error by Cameron Munster goes unpunished. Fifth and last, still in their own territory. This game has definitely swung. Oh, what a great take. Charlie Staines got himself out of position. He had to dive forward a little bit to take that, and he did well in the end. He made it difficult for himself, but he ended up doing quite well. A 6 again. Ruck infringement. And the Panthers will be starting from the halfway line here. Tackle 1. Liam Martin. I'm pinpointing Liam Martin. He is one who needs to stand up big time tonight. Isaiah Yeo as well, of course. And now here's Yeo, dummy in and goes on his own. Drags in 3 defenders, and that is a great run. That's the sort of run he needs to come up with a lot tonight. Kick out, cutting back inside. Tackle 4. 20 out, midfield. And another early kick. They're kicking early tonight. It's not the greatest one, and Nufaluma has taken it very easily. No pressure. I don't think anybody knew what was happening there. He's just kicked it on a whim, and nobody else was ready for it. Cameron Munster blowing up about the speed of the play the ball. The irony of a Melbourne Storm player complaining about play the ball speed is hilarious, and I hope it's not lost on anybody else either. 5th and last, they went nowhere fast in that set, Melbourne. Solid defense it was. Oh, Staines gets a little bit of roughing up there. Surprise, surprise. I'll give you one guess who that was by. Who was doing the roughing up? Big Nass. Big Nass. Because he knows he can get away with it now, you see. That's the thing. Big Nass, he knows that he can get away with murder on the field, essentially. Well, maybe not. Maybe murder's taken it a little bit too far, but he can get away with smashing a guy's teeth with his forearm. So why wouldn't you keep roughing guys up if you know you can get away with it without suspension? 5th and last, Panthers 30 out. O'Sullivan with a much better kick this time. It's just a little bit too deep. And coach takes it as easy as you like. Completely uncontested. But they've really stood up on defense here so far tonight, Panthers. They swung. Oh, now here's an offload. Olam, a little bit of space. Liam Martin's over there. Crunch. Now there's some serious contact. Justin Olam and Liam Martin. 2 guys that just do not know how to back down. Complex, basic, ahoy. Welcome along. Vopsy says, whoever scores first try wins. I don't know why, but I just feel it. Oh, razzle-dazzle here from the Storm, and they've created some space. It's shut down as quickly as it opened up. Coruscant's over there, clinging on for dear life to Seve. Yeah, I think my multis are kind of shot. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game, isn't it? Vobsy, you could be absolutely right there. Although I say Melbourne, I will go as far as to say this, Vobsy. Melbourne have to score first. Melbourne, as I said 15 minutes ago, the way that they've basically started with all their reserves, they've flipped the script. Melbourne tonight. Their intention seems pretty clear. We need to build a lead early. We're going to throw everything at them early, and then we're going to hold on. If they come back, we're going to try and hold on. Just the way that they've structured their team, the reserves, the typical reserves are starting tonight. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on leading from the front for the Storm. So, yeah, I think if the Storm score first, it's not necessarily a first try scorer wins scenario. For the Panthers, I would go as far as to say if they score the first try and convert it, I'm giving myself a way out here. If it's converted try, I think it's probably done. That will go a long way to winning the entire game for Penrith. If they score a converted try first. 5th and last here, Storm, though, they are on the attack. 20 out, a short chip over the top by Johns. But that's read by Taruva. It was read perfectly by Taruva. And he takes the ball. And now Charlie Staines sees a small gap. And it's closed down by the Cheese and Harry Grant. Oh, that was... Charlie Staines has got some toes. So if that stayed opened up, it was game on right there. Crichton is going to miss just for you if Panthers going to try. Well, as long as he scores the try, that's fine. If he scores the try, that goes towards one of my multis. And probably the most likely multi, to be honest. The three-legger. There might not be enough tries scored tonight for me to get the four-leg. But, yeah, I reckon I'm on for the three-leg. Nobody's really looked like... This is the beauty of this game so far. I said this is a preliminary final preview. I am quite sure this could be one of the preliminary finals. It could be the grand final as well. Let's not rule that out. But I think after crunching the numbers on the NRL.com ladder predictor, with all the most likely of scenarios, I can see Storm and Panthers meeting in a prelim. And we're getting a damn good preview of it tonight, aren't we? This is intense. This is finals footy. No score. No score after 16 minutes. Nobody has even been in try-scoring range. It's been played from 20 to 20. 20-metre line to 20-metre line. Nobody has really launched an attack from inside that point. Coruscant out of dummy half, gets away from Nass, gets away from another, gets away from Harry Grant. Oh, Coruscant, he's slippery. He is slippery, and now it's the fifth and last. They're still outside the 20. And Tago, he can't reach out. He is tackled centimetres short of the line. Tago was so close to scoring a try there. Some of his hair was over the try line. Just unfortunately for the Panthers, the ball was not. That was the closest we've seen to a try tonight. Michelle Ahoy, I hope someone teabags Nass. That's weird. That's a really weird... What kind of bizarre dreams are you having? Oh, God, I had that dream again where they were teabagging Big Nelson. Anyway, Vopsy says Roosters are going to make it to the finals, then beat the Panthers by 32, and Teddy will get a hat-trick. Oh, here goes Justin Olam down the sideline, puts the kick in. Nick Meaney, it just needs to bounce. It bounces perfectly, and just like that, Nick Meaney has scored. Melbourne Storm completely against the run of play. And here we go. This is what they needed. They needed to be in front early. They needed to stay in front up until halftime to have any chance in this game. We've been talking about it 10 minutes ago. This just opened up. What happened here? Munster. It was Munster dummies, double pumps to Bromwich. Where did that space open up from Justin Olam? And the kick through, it had to bounce perfectly. It did. And Nick Meaney scores the first try out of absolutely nowhere. There was nothing happening there. They were just going through the paces. And then suddenly I look up and it's a try. Well, geez, blocker. I wouldn't say it was all Munster. Blocker Roach on the Fox Sports commentary putting that all down to Cameron Munster. And I think that's a bit harsh on Justin Olam is the one who put the kick in. Cameron Munster wasn't remote controlling Justin Olam with some sort of device attached to his neck. Blocker Roach, too many knocks in the head from back in the day, I think. putting that all down to Cameron Munster. No, there were quite a few players involved in that. It started with Munster. Bromwich was involved. Olam was heavily involved. And Nick Meaney, he only finished it off. Nick Meaney, the one who scored the try, was the least involved in the setting up of the try. And he converts it, though, so he now becomes part of it. And it's a very, very valuable 6-0 lead for the Melbourne Storm halfway through the first half. So therefore, an easier thing for me to say would have been a quarter of the way through this contest. And we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it a few times now. That is exactly where the Storm need to be. They need to be leading this game. They are not going to play from behind tonight. The way that they've structured their team, for those of you who might be just joining, the way the Storm have structured their team tonight, a lot of their normal reserves are playing in the starting lineup tonight. So it's signaled to me that they're going to throw everything at the Panthers in this first half. The first 20 to 30 minutes, they'll be anticipating a nice lead. Oh, Seve gets the ball away, stands in the tackle. Coates breaks away from one. And they've got a little bit of wind in their sails here, the Storm. The Cheese with a goose step goes straight through Brandon Smith. Who's in front of him? Charlie Staines steps around him. Try. And that is exactly what they needed. The first try was what they needed. That one has just... I was literally in the process of speaking about how they needed to be a couple of tries in front early because they are going to run out of gas late and the Panthers are going to finish over the top of them. So the more that they can come up with like that, Charlie Staines just completely shown up there. And that is where they're missing Dylan Edwards because Dylan Edwards, absolutely no way is Dylan Edwards getting wrong-footed in a situation like that. So easily, anyway. And it's about to be 12-0. $12-0. Conversion is successful. Storm have just gone bang, bang. Back to back. Back to back. 17th minute, 19th minute. And how often do you see it? How often do you see it happen? A tight contest. A tight contest that just gets broken open. Vopsy says, I think after this, I might just give up any type of gambling. Why? Oh, have you got multis on tonight? Or did you go for the Panthers? It's not over yet. I reckon that Storm need to be... I reckon the Storm need another one to make a game of it. Storm need another try, converted or otherwise, to make a game of the second half. To'o breaking away, threatening to. Anyway, he's just dragged down. by Norfoluma. See, Penrith are playing the long game tonight. The Storm have shown their hand. The Storm have shown their hand early by playing the players, the impact players. Don't forget this. Do not forget this. How could you forget it? Because I've mentioned it every 5 minutes so far in the first half. They've started with their impact players tonight, the Melbourne Storm. They've thrown everything into this first half, into this first 30 minutes. If Melbourne were not leading, their whole game plan was shot to pieces. This might have been touched forward by Xavier Coates. It wasn't. And Johns is back there to wrangle the ball in. But they're starting this set 5 meters out, right in front of their own posts. Storm. So as I was saying, I can't remember what I was saying. I wouldn't worry about it yet. Vobsy, basically, is what I was saying. I wouldn't worry about it yet. The Storm showed their intention. All the impact players were starting tonight. They've got no impact players. They are going to fade away in the second half. And the Panthers are playing the long game. They're going to just ease themselves into this game. And they'll finish the stronger of the two. So I reckon Storm need to be ahead 16 or 18-0. The further ahead they are, the better it is for them. But I reckon a minimum of 16 is what they will be targeting for halftime. Coruscant out of dummy half. They're loving this blindside play tonight, and it is reaping rewards for them almost every time. Liam Martin up to the 20, and Yo at the back. O'Sullivan kicking early on the fourth tackle again, and Xavier Coates snaps it in like a hungry hippo. Although Xavier Coates is about as far from a hippo as you will ever see in your entire life. I love it. Oh, and now here is a huge mistake. Munster again. I'm sorry, but you cannot blame Big Nas for that. Cameron Munster with the worst pass you will ever see in your entire life out of dummy half. It's the second time he's made a mistake in his own end. Early in the tackle count, presenting an opportunity. Cameron Munster's back on the Terps, I think. Now, the Panthers messed it up on tackle one last time they were gifted an opportunity like this. What a huge turning point in this game. If they can keep it together now, out to Toho. Toho's had his head taken off by Justin Olam, and that has got to be a penalty. It was Justin Olam again, though, in cover. Justin Olam saved the day last time to cover up Munster's mistake, and he's done it again. He's just done it illegally this time. Well, the penalty's actually for inside 10. I thought the referee was signalling that the penalty was for a high shot, but there you go. Apparently it was for inside 10. So the Panthers, they nearly buggered it up again on tackle one off a great attacking scrum. Kick out, threatening the short ball. O'Sullivan's going to try and do it all on his own. Let's see if they realize they've got 6 tackles this set, the Panthers. They've been kicking on the fourth a lot. They've got it covered out here, the Storm. They're going through the hands. There's Crichton. But they've well and truly got them covered in defense, that play. Isaiah Yeo cuts back inside. Offloads. Coruscant. Now they're coming back to the left. Kick out at pace. Targo went close last time. Not so close this time. And that is the 5th and last. They're 5 out. O'Sullivan with the high ball. It's not close enough to the line. It's taken easily. And Justin Olam may have taken Stephen Crichton out here, and he has. Justin Olam just threw himself like it was some sort of bizarre insurance scam in Singapore. He threw himself in front of Stephen Crichton. You know, because, sorry, I might have to explain that one. Because, you know, like in Singapore and Vietnam and those Asian countries, it's very, very renowned for people purposely throwing themselves in front of cars to try and scam the insurance. Never mind. Let's just move on. Tackle one here for the Panthers. They've got to score a try here, though, you would think. You would think. They cannot let the Storm dictate the pace of this game. They've already let them jump out to 12-0. Oh, kick out. Dangerously close to an obstruction there. But they get away with that one, I dare say. Keeping it alive here on tackle 3. They're well within striking. This time the short ball does go to Kikau. Kikau, with too much strength, breaks away from 2 tacklers, scores a try. There is the man as part of one of my multis. Oh! We've got no try. Hang on. I'll take that tick away from Kikau's face on my stream overlay. And yeah, Kikau does not look confident at all. Coruscant, they ran a couple of plays where Kikau was the decoy. This time they threw it to him. Oh, and what a huge let-off here for Melbourne. Massive let-off. There's the knock-on. There's the knock-on. There's the knock-on. Just at the last minute. No try. And Melbourne survive. And that is massive. Massive. Remember I said, Melbourne, to win this game, need to take at least a 16-point lead into halftime. Because they're not gonna finish well. They've got no impact at all tonight coming off the bench. So that's gone a long way defensively for Melbourne. 12-6. It potentially would have been 12-6. And that would have made a very different looking ball game. Ran out of dummy half. Here's Munster. Munster. He's not going to pass anymore tonight because he keeps cocking it up, so he just runs on his own. 5th and last. They are now back on the attack. Melbourne, what a set. 59-metre gain. It felt like so much more. And now an attacking bomb. Pressure on Penrith here. Xavier Coates goes up. They get 6 again. He put enough pressure. On to force the mistake to Ruva. And now, suddenly, Melbourne, they could go a long way to icing this contest right now. This game, a potential preliminary final preview, could be all over by halftime. Meaney, now here's space, Nufaluma, steps, scores. Game, set, match, Melbourne. Who saw this coming? They just have to hold on to this lead now. Remember what I said? They want at least a 16-point lead at halftime to win this game. And there it is. They have come out and done it. I told you, didn't I say last week, right off the Melbourne Storm this year at your own peril, they are still very much a premiership threat. Do not write these bastards off, ever. Ever. And that's exactly what they needed to do. They've come out and played this game and said, now, remember, this game is not over. This game is not over. Melbourne have no impact coming off the bench tonight. None, because they started them all. Their plan tonight was to play from the front. They have accomplished that, but they have no quality reserves coming off the bench at all late in the game. Panthers are going to finish the stronger of the two teams. And that's what I've been talking about all half so far. Storm need at least a 16-point lead going into the break, or they are just going to get run down in the second half. It is. So don't for 1 second think this game's over yet. Nick Meaney misses the conversion, and it stays a 16-point gap. So we are going to put my theory to the test. My theory is absolutely going to be put to the test tonight. Because I said they needed at least 16 at the break to be any chance of winning the game. And this is just set up perfectly for a blockbuster finish and to really put my knowledge and foresight to the test, isn't it? I love it. I love it. My balls are on the chopping block. Back underway we go. That was huge, though. That was massive. See, the Panthers were gifted that territory and possession on the Storm try line. They were gifted that. They didn't earn that. That's the thing. They were gifted that on the back of a monster mistake. They had 3 or 4 sets of 6 on attack. Couldn't do it. Now they've given away a penalty. And Melbourne, okay. I said at least 16 points. If they score again, it is definitely over. It is definitely done and dusted if they score another try. There's definitely a lot more enthusiasm in Melbourne's play. They realise that they're well on top. They're throwing everything now at this set of 6. Nass gets the offload to Seve. Keeps the ball alive. No, he is swamped and taken out. This is a huge statement in the contest. Because Melbourne are throwing everything now into this set of 6. They realise what this represents. They are using a lot of energy. Oh, and there is a big mistake. There's a big mistake. And they survive there. Penrith survive there. Eisenhuth spills it. I don't even know how he dropped that ball, but it's all Melbourne at the moment, as you would expect. They've started with all their available guns. They haven't saved anything for impact off the bench tonight. So they needed to jump out to this lead early. Panthers, they just needed to limit the damage, get themselves to halftime. Any points are a bonus for them at this stage now, but I reckon they're definitely going to finish the stronger of the two teams. If they don't panic, they just have to not panic, basically. And I feel like they might be starting to panic, which puts a little bit of a spanner in the works of my prediction. 5th and last now, but they are in range for a decent kick. O'Sullivan runs it, though. He's running at the line. Tapped on by kick out and then thrown over the sideline by Targo. And I don't understand why they're playing the way that they are, because it's unnecessary. Surely everybody, once the teams were announced officially, surely everybody... and I don't want to offend anybody, but am I correct in saying, surely when the teams were announced, you knew that the Storm were going to be dominant early. I don't want to sound like I'm talking down to anybody, but I mean, I'm offending Michelle. But that's okay. I don't mind that. That's fine. Once the teams were announced, it was blatantly obvious what the game plans were. Panthers are playing the long game. Melbourne are playing to lead from the front. They were throwing everything into this first half. And I guess what their hope was that they got far enough ahead that the Panthers start playing catch-up footy. And here is another scrum, another error, another scrum. Attacking points here would be so valuable for Panthers. Vopsy says Cowboys lose in the first week of the finals. Oh, the Cowboys are the only team in the top 8 at the moment that have 0% chance of winning the premiership this year. I think my Sharks are a couple of seasons off being the finished product. I give them about a 5% chance of winning the premiership, but the Cowboys are the only team in the top 8 that have absolute 0% chance of winning the premiership this season. They are going to get dumped out of the finals so emphatically. They are just going to get so emphatically dumped out of the finals. It's going to be hilarious to watch. Short side play again, and another mistake. Oh, just too many errors here. Panthers, what are they doing? They are self-imploding. Yeah, they've got the Cowboys have got the Chad now. I'm a Shark supporter, remember. I know all about the Chad. With him steering the ship, they are a 0% chance of winning the premiership. And again, Penrith, just mistakes. They've had 2 errors handed to them by Cameron Munster, 20 metres out from the line. They made a mistake back on tackle 1 on 2 occasions. And another mistake close to the try line. And they are just starting to panic a little bit. A little bit of panic filtering into the Panthers' play. John's off the side of the boot. Oh, Xavier Coates has got through, puts the second kick in, puts a third kick in, and Taruva dives on it. Heidi Marr, of course I remember you. I was trying to figure out what your avatar was. At the size it is and the distance that I'm standing away from the screen, it kind of looks like somebody playing a flute. Oh, no, or maybe holding up an awards trophy. Maybe you're holding up some form of trophy there. Actually, it could also be that. Or it could be a bong, even better. You could be holding a glorious bong. This is my all right. Kai Collins McCoy, ahoy. Under 2 minutes to go till the halftime break. Penrith 5th and last, trapped inside their own half. No pressure on Coates for the kick return. And this game has gone pretty much exactly how I said it would go so far. Well, not how I said it would go, how I said it needed to go for Melbourne, were they to threaten in this game. Now, Olam gets away. He's in space again. Is he going to kick? He is. What kind of bounce do they get this time? A perfect one for Munster. Keeps it on the toe, and then he screws it up. Cameron Munster's on the Terps again tonight for sure. Cameron Munster is definitely back on the piss. Cameron Munster wants a penalty, but what an absolute travesty it would be if the Storm get given a penalty in this scenario. He kicks it away. Taruva's trying to get the ball. He's trying to call for a penalty, Munster, to save him from his own embarrassment at the air swing, I think is what's happened there. And this game stays in the balance. It stays in the balance. Justin Olam is having an absolute blinder, isn't he? When did Blocker Roach become such a when did Blocker Roach get on the Storm's payroll? That's what I want to know. Well, it's turned out to be a dropout. It's decided that it's come off the pad, and it has. So Taruva's got his foot to the ball there. So it is going to be a dropout. So Melbourne still get a result from that, and they still get the last say in this first half as they hold on to this commanding 16-point lead. Coruscant taking the dropout. That's an interesting one. They need to survive this set, basically. They can give away two, but give away a penalty. They can give away a penalty. It doesn't matter. Under a minute to go. Oh, they've got them skittled here. Xavier Coates for the corner. He scores the try. Xavier Coates has scored the try. It's going up as no try. Watching live, if he grounds the ball, he is still in the air. And this could be the most amazing try that you will ever see. Xavier Coates, the magician. He's still up in the air. And he's planted on the line. And he dropped the ball too. Wow. I tell you what, props to that man for the skill involved in that. I can't even hold on to a footy anymore, standing still, let alone flying through the air. Like, unbelievable. I honestly would have sent it up as a try. I really would have sent that up as a try. But, the officials are in a better spot than me, so. So 9 seconds to go. They're putting it through the hands here, Panthers. They've kept it alive. Staines. Isaiah Yeo, midfield. Anyone to pass it to? He's kicked past it. Oh, what danger. They've absolutely self-imploded here, the Panthers. What are they doing? They don't seem to... Okay, this is a very interesting halftime break, this one, isn't it? Because what have I said every 5 minutes throughout the entire first half? If you saw the team lists, you know that the Melbourne Storm are throwing everything at this first half. All the players who are usually impact off the bench were starters tonight. They were throwing everything into that first 20 or 30 minutes, and if they did not come away from that with a comfortable lead, their game was over, because the Panthers are going to finish the stronger of the two. Panthers are playing their usual long game, a game of two halves. Storm threw everything into that first half. And you even saw it towards the back end of the first half there. They were throwing absolutely everything into some of those last sets of six on the Panthers line there, because they knew how huge a moment it would be if they scored another try right before halftime. So don't for 1 minute think that this game is over yet. I've been saying it all first half. Storm need to be ahead by at least 16 points. And this has well and truly put my sack on the chopping block because they are exactly 16 points ahead at halftime. So we're going to see how good I am at predictions and analysis in the second half because I dare say the Panthers, they lost their heads a little bit towards the back end of the first half. They're going to go into the sheds and Ivan Cleary is going to sit them down and say, look, what's with all the Harlem Globetrotter bollocks? We're still in this game. We're going to finish over the top of these guys. They've used all the guys they usually use as reserves to start the game tonight. We can finish over the top of them if we just contain them and then start to play our natural game. And for the Storm, it was the complete opposite. They wanted to throw something different at the Panthers tonight. They started all the people they usually use as impact off the bench. They started tonight. They wanted to come out with a hiss and a roar, so to speak, and they did just that. So the Storm at the moment are obviously ahead. Obviously, they're in the best position. They got themselves exactly where they needed to be, but do not think for 1 second that this game is over. I think to be completely comfortable, for it to be game, set, match, game over, they needed at least one more try. 22-0 at halftime, it's probably game over. 16-0, it's still well and truly game on in this contest. Especially because, as I say, Melbourne, they're going to run out of gas. Panthers will absolutely finish the strongest. I'm not saying that they are going to win. I'm saying it's going to be a great game. And we are in for a potential blockbuster finish here. And even if they do lose, who really cares? Because, they've got the minor premiership wrapped up anyway. There is absolutely no way. There is absolutely no physical way the Panthers don't finish on top of the table. Absolutely no way at all. Robert M., our statsman in the back. I thought you'd be all over that already. Jamin Salmon is partnering Sean O'Sullivan in the halves tonight. But yeah, 16 points to 0 at halftime. Storm over the Panthers. It's going to be a very interesting second half. It's not very often, in all honesty, it's not very often things are like this delicately poised for one of my predictions. I'm either incredibly right or incredibly wrong. This is an unusual scenario for me to be at halftime and actually be like, we are literally right on the money. Literally right on the money for something I predicted. Exactly, Robert. I understand you're just joining us. I just got through talking about it, and so people who literally just heard me talking about it are probably going to be, oh God, he's onto this again. But no, Robert brings it up. Panthers will bounce back. Ivan will have the Panthers backed up. Now, Robert is a little bit of a stats man as well. And, oh, God, Vobsy, you should be kicked out for that statement. I know you said if, but the fact that you're even considering that that's even a remote possibility enough to say if is enough for me to kick you out on your ass right now. Oh, God, sorry. I nearly called them Cowboys. My bad. Ugh. The Cowgirls are not even going to get past the Roosters this week, let alone winning the rest of their games. I mean, they're definitely going to beat Anyways, God, Michelle's right. Don't get me started. That's not what this is about tonight. Anyway, Robert, I'll give you the short version. I basically said that the Storm, because they've started with all their reserves tonight, all the guys like the Cheese and Karma Chameleon that usually come off the bench for impact at the back end of the games, they started them tonight in the starting lineup. So they've got no impact coming off the bench tonight. they basically signaled they're going to come out firing. They're going to come out all guns blazing, and they're going to really throw everything into the first 20 or 30 minutes of this game. So if they don't have a comfortable lead, and I actually specified 16 points, if they're not leading by 16 points at halftime, Panthers win. And now, here they are, a 16-point lead at halftime. So we're going to see how good my analysis and prediction is in the second half. It's perfectly poised for what I was predicting at the start of this stream. Anyways, I need to have a very quick break for halftime, rest my voice, drain the lizard, because you needed to know that part. You absolutely needed to know that last part. And yeah, I'll be back for the second half. 16 points to 0. Storm exactly where they needed to be, where they wanted and needed to be. Second half coming up. Dear God, what's with Bobsy's got it in for the Baldies tonight. I've just come back and Bobsy's off to search for Darren Lockyer's hairline. Did Bobsy say something about Craig Fitzgibbon's hair earlier? He's got it in for the Baldies tonight. But, wow, what a turn-up at halftime. I've got to say, a bit of a turn-up at halftime. Just because I said this is where Melbourne needed to be doesn't mean I thought they would get there by any stretch of the imagination. I did not think it would be 16-0 at halftime. I did say this is where Melbourne, this is exactly the position they needed to be in. Certainly didn't think it would happen. I thought tonight was all Panthers. They've stood up so many times in the absences that they have. And Melbourne having a few absences of their own. I am more than a little bit surprised at just the dominance. The dominance. Panthers haven't even looked likely, apart from that one moment with kick out. Michelle's Michelle's gonna go dye her hair. They can't wait till after. They can't wait till after the second half comeback by the Panthers. Oh, wow. You'll give them 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned this. Okay, I'm just taking the piss at this point. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but as I've been saying, every 5 minutes for the entire first half. But it's true. I don't know how else to say it. It's true. Melbourne took everybody that they usually have on their reserves bench and started them tonight. They took the cheese usually comes off the bench. Karma Chameleon usually comes off the bench. They went, we're going to start these guys tonight. They needed at least a 16-point lead. They got it. It's going to be a very interesting second half, especially when they fall away. Do not for 1 second think that this game is over. We've got a very... Now, I will say 16 points is probably the... that's probably the limit. I think Panthers need to score first. If Melbourne score the first try of the second half, go do your hair. Absolutely. I'll probably go do my hair as well. But I think the halftime break will do the Panthers good. Ivan Cleary will be able to sit them down. Just basically probably say to them what I've been saying this whole time as well. Just calm down. Like, it's only 3 tries. Panthers are capable of getting 3 quick tries, especially against a tiring team that has no bench impact. Because I'm not sure if I've mentioned it so far tonight, but I'm not sure if I've mentioned it tonight or not, but Melbourne have started everybody that's usually on the reserves bench. They were in the starting team tonight, so they've got no impact coming off the bench. I might not have mentioned it already, so just in case I haven't, I'll let you know again. They have been rewarded with that decision, a 16-point lead at halftime, but they needed it. They needed it because they're not going to finish as strong as the Panthers. Panthers will get first use of the ball. They need a massive, massive telling set to start this second half. It would be absolutely huge, just massive. If they come out first set, first use of the ball. Hang on. Did the Panthers kick off or did the Storm? Panthers might have had first use of the ball, actually. Might be Panthers kicking off the second half. Well, they can still make a statement. The first set of 6, they need to make a statement. Whether they're on attack and it looks like they're going to be on defense. So they need to make a defensive statement here in the first half. Keep the Storm pinned down there. James Intoxic. Oh, James is someone who often keeps tabs on my spillages. 5 seconds tonight, James. 5 seconds after kickoff. I had the drink in my hand. They kicked off the first half. I put the drink down. The drink was unbalanced and fell over. 5 second spillage. That has to be some sort of wasted World of Sports record right there. I thought you might like to know. But the Panthers have got us underway here in the second half, and Storm, with first use of the ball, they need to make a statement defensively here. Penrith, a big statement defensively, and they're doing well so far. Tackle 3, Melbourne, just up to the 30-metre line. They'll probably end up this set on the halfway line. So probably not as big a statement as they would have been hoping to make, but there we are, just over the halfway line, fifth and last. Munster with the kick. He goes high. Very high. It's a good kick. Staines takes it, and that's been the difference. That's been a big difference tonight. Staines at the back instead of Edwards was a massive, massive out. Staines is just not the player that Edwards is. Whether he's been training all week, like I suggest that he probably has been, or not, he's just not the same player that Dylan Edwards is. Great rampaging run there, Targo. What a run up to the Storm's 40-metre line on tackle 4. And they can get a great kick away at the end of this set if they keep ball in hand. Martin crashing it up. Fifth and last, 35 out. O'Sullivan with the high ball. Where's the kick chase? It's a good one. It's a good one. And it's created the mistake. And it gets the ball's with To'o. And it's 6 again. No Faluma. And that's where they should have been. They've been kicking to. It's been driving me nuts. And I reckon that was probably a conversation that was had at halftime. It was driving me absolutely insane that Sean O'Sullivan was kicking to Xavier Coates all first half. The first kick of the second half has gone straight to Norfoluma, and they've got a result. He makes the mistake, and the Panthers are now 10 out from the line on tackle 1. Short ball to... who is that? I actually don't know who that is. And it's Eisenhuth. How many Eisenhuths are there in this game? I was going to say it was Eisenhuth, but I thought he played for Melbourne. And then I've looked at the team list, and he does play for Melbourne. And Stephen Crichton has just flicked past. Over the touchline. Yeah, I was going to say Eisenhuth there, running it up for the Panthers, but then I thought, no, I've called Eisenhuth already. And he plays for the Storm. There's 2 Eisenhuths out on the field tonight. Matthew and Tom. But that was the opportunity there, Penrith. That was their opportunity. I'm actually willing to write them off now. Stephen Crichton with the flick pass over the sideline. They just don't do stuff like that. They don't do stuff like that, the Panthers, usually. They don't normally make mistakes like that, Penrith. And, geez. That was their chance to make a real statement in this game. Get themselves back into the contest. It's still not over, but I'm getting closer to writing them off tonight. This is a good set of 6 on defense. Penrith, the cheese, back for another spell. Takes it up to the 40-metre line. And a horrible offload there from Munster. Brandon Smith recovers and what would have been another mistake from Cameron Munster. And that's the trouble. Cameron Munster has made so many mistakes, unusually so. He's gotten away with every single one of them because the Panthers have just made a mistake in return when they've been hot on attack. And they've given him and Melbourne a reprieve. Cameron Munster's had one of the worst games that I can remember him having in recent history. And the Storm are leading by 16 points, which speaks volumes about how they've dictated this game. Taruva with a good hit up here, and they're winning the early territory battle in the second half. Great start to the second half. Exactly what they needed. Fifth and last now. An attacking kick is an option. They stay on the short side. O'Sullivan. There's no kick pressure at all on Munster, who just surrenders himself and plays the ball. But they are winning the territory battle early in the second half. Vobsy says Bellyache is probably still mad, even though he's... Well, I think Craig Bellamy is a good enough coach to understand. He will completely understand that this game is far from over. Far from over. As a matter of fact... Oh, and Cameron Munster's got a bit of a limp. Cameron Munster's in trouble. Is it just a little bit of a corky? Cameron Munster can barely stand in back play. And the Panthers are dominating territory early in this second half. And now they've created space. Taruva Dummies goes on his own. It's tackle one. It's tackle one. 30 out from Melbourne's line. And this is exactly the start they needed to the second half. Yo. Eisenhuth, number 2. Or number 1. I don't know. I really don't know who's B1 and who's B2. The Eisenhuths in pajamas. E1, E2. Well, we've just created their nickname for the nickname team list, haven't we? Short ball to Kickow. Gets the ball back to Coruscant. Staines keeping it alive. Just run it forward, Staines. Have a settler. It's all good. Fifth and last. 10 meters out. Oh, that's got to be a 6 again, surely. My God. Coruscant, grubbers into the end goal. Cleaned up by Munster. Nobody there in support, and he's taken over the dead ball line, and that's a result for Penrith. They have started pretty much how they needed to start, and now Munster is still down in back play. He's still down in back play, Munster. He's not 100% at all. Well, he hasn't been from the start of the game. But he's even less than 100% now. He's up. He's up. He's going to take the dropout. Plenty of time. Panthers just need to play their natural game. Short dropout. Unbelievable scenes. And they get a result. No, they don't. Kick out. Dives on the loose ball. 16 points to 0 ahead. Craig Bellamy is going to be fuming in the coach's box to see a short dropout. 16 points ahead. 6 minutes into the second half. A short dropout has just gifted the Panthers territory. Tackle 3. 3 meters out from the line. And if this is where a try is scored and the momentum shifts in this contest, Craig Bellamy is going to be breaking everything up in that coach's box. I don't understand the logic behind a short dropout when you're 16 points ahead, 6 minutes into the second half. You kick that son of a bitch as far as you can. Fifth and last, 10 out. They go short side. Salmon, terrible kick. It's got a ricochet, and Olam dives on the loose ball for Melbourne. And they are just... They're just holding on. They're dictating the contest. Exactly what I said. And now Liam Martin's busted in back play. Liam Martin in big trouble in back play. And there's a high shot from Kickow. Oh, no penalty called. Play on. Must have grazed over the top of his head. He's gone a bit high again there. Kickow needs to really watch himself. He's there for another tackle. Fifth and last. They are dominating the territory here. 25 out, fifth and last. The kick from Munster. A high ball towards the sideline. And it takes a bounce over the sideline. 40 meters out from Panthers line. Yeah, Liam Martin's done for the night. Liam Martin is off Massive. That's another massive blow for Penrith. Luai out. Cleary out. Fisher-Harris suspended. Edwards out. Liam Martin coming from the field now with a busted ankle. He's going to be out for a while. Ankle injuries are not swift to come back from. Coruscant keeps the ball alive. They're just hot potato in here. Penrith are playing completely clueless. They're just completely clueless here, Penrith. They just need to go through their regular shape, their regular motions, and they'll get themselves back into this game and finish over the top. But they're just playing ridiculous. Fifth and last, Salmon taking over the kicking duties in general play. It stays alive. Storm are going to dive on this. They're going to get the ball. It's got to be a penalty, Penrith, surely. Yeah, here we go. Penalty for tackle in midair. See, he could have bumped him. He could have bumped him with his shoulder, with his arms up, and that would have been absolutely fine. But he wrapped his arms around, made it seem like a tackle, and it's another penalty. And see, this is what Melbourne were wanting to do in that first half. They're 16 points up. The 2 points are not an option. They can just give away penalties until the point that the referee says no more. They can just give away penalty after penalty. Isaiah Yeo for the try line. He's a metre short. Less than a metre. Even on tackle 2. Look at the numbers here for Melbourne, though. Targo, Taruva, Burrows over the sideline. Melbourne's defence, my God. What can you say? Do they have 13 players on the field? I'm not even joking. Do Melbourne have only 13 players on the field? I'm not so sure, because they are just everywhere. They have played this game exactly as I said. They got themselves an early lead, and now they are just defending. They're not even trying to attack. They're not even trying to get themselves out of their own end. They're just saying, hey, we've got the lead now. You come at us. Absolutely incredible. Fifth and last, again, just outside their own 40-metre line. Melbourne are going nowhere in attack, but that's not what it's about here in the second half. They put everything into attack in the first half, got themselves that lead, and they're throwing everything into attack now, defense now, in the second half. That is their game plan, and it is working to perfection so far. And Penrith, this younger, less experienced spine of the Panthers, really panicking. They're trying to play Harlem Globetrotter style footy when they really haven't needed to. And here they go again now. Up to what a great run! A fantastic run by Leota up to the 20-metre line. Fifth and last, front foot ball, quick ball. Salmon keeps it alive for the line. Oh, and the defense. Every time you look up, there are just like 30 Melbourne Storm jerseys in front of you. There is no plausible way that they only have 13 players on the field. There is no way that there is only 13 of them out there. Not a chance. There is absolutely no way there are only 13 players on the field. Can we get a count? Can we get a count on those white jerseys, please? There is absolutely no way there's only 13. They just keep springing up everywhere. Munster breaks through. Here is the game, set, match. Xavier Coates. They've got front foot ball here if they don't score now. They've got 5 tackles. It's tackle 1, front foot ball. They've got them absolutely skittled on the right. On the back of all that defense, they can just totally put this beyond doubt now. Oh, and he's knocked it on, Big Nass. He's knocked it on. Game is still up for grabs. I thought Cameron Munster made that break. He had Xavier Coates on the inside in support. Xavier Coates gets run down by Isaac Targo. How fast must Targo be? I thought it was game, set, and match then. I thought it was 22-0 at that moment. Leota, what a run. I can't believe that they did not score off the back of that. And now up inside the 10. Oh, no, it's a high shot. A high shot by the Cheese. Penrith can score tries very quickly. This game is not over. This game is not at all over. I realize I keep saying that, but it's not. Penrith can score tries very, very quickly. Melbourne are going to be dead on their feet. Melbourne are going to be absolutely dead on their feet for the last 15 minutes of this game. Penrith, I reckon if Penrith get 1 in the next 10 minutes, 16 points to 6 with 15 minutes to go, it is still well and truly game on. Well and truly still game on. 16-6 with 15 to go. Leota looking threatening every time he gets the ball. Tackle 2. They're 10 out. They need to make something happen. Isaiah, short ball. Dangerous ball. Nearly knocks it on. Jeez, that was close. And they're playing this short ball game because when they swing it wide, there's just 100 Melbourne jerseys out there. Coruscant brings it back short side. Salmon dummies. Goes on his own. Breaks away from 1. 5th and last now. That happened very quickly. Sullivan kicks it through. Kick out. Chasing. And Coates is caught in the end goal. They will get another set of 6. They just cannot break this line open. I swear to God, Melbourne have more than 13 players out on the field. They have to. They have to have more than 13 on the field tonight. They just keep swarming in defense. It has been an impressive, no matter what happens for the rest of this game, props to Melbourne's defensive effort. Seriously. Every time you look up and the Panthers look likely, there are just 34 Melbourne jerseys in front of them. There's no way through. Oh, Craig Bellamy is fired up because he knows, he knows this game is not over. Just like he knew the 2020 grand final was not over, he knows this one's not over. And that 2020 grand final, if it went for 3 minutes longer, if rugby league was an 83-minute game instead of an 80-minute game, Panthers would have won in 2020 as well. Well, if Cameron Smith wasn't retiring, then the Panthers would have won 2020 as well, but I digress. That was a gift from the NRL, that first half. Coruscant breaks through, looking for the try. Can't get the ball down. This defense, my God. This defense for the Storm. Coruscant was over the line. The ball breaks free, and Melbourne now 10 out from their own line, bringing it back. This defense. They hold on again. I dare say that they have probably wrapped this game up now. Penrith have to be so disheartened. That is 3 tries that they would have scored under normal circumstances that Melbourne have snuffed out tonight. They have got to be pretty disheartened at this moment in time, and I dare say that has to be the ball game now. Only 20 to go. They've got about 4 minutes to score a try, I reckon, to keep it interesting. Otherwise, the defense. The talking point tonight, the Melbourne Storm defense. Immaculate. Absolutely immaculate. No way through. I still don't believe that they've only got 13 players on the field. There's no way. There's no plausible way in some of those scenarios. Oh, and they're playing razzle-dazzle now from their own end. Melbourne. Munster trying to break away. He's tackled 10 out. He ran about 40 metres across the field. And, I mean, everything that I'm saying has proven to be true. Like, Melbourne look dead on their feet. They're offering nothing in attack because they threw it all into that first half. The thing is, they've got enough in the tank to be able to defend. They're defending like beasts. They've done pretty much bugger all on attack in the second half, so I feel like my foretelling of the game wasn't necessarily horrendously bad. So the Panthers have got about 2 minutes to score a try, I think, or it's game over, as far as the contest is concerned. They just can't seem to... Oh, Staines is off now as well. Well, he's had a shocker, to be fair. He's had an absolute nightmare, to be completely fair. And then now kick on the fourth. They've gone nowhere on attack. They've just, just nothing happening. Nothing happening for Penrith. They've had their chances. But Melbourne's defense has just stood up long enough to do what they needed to do to just sap the life out of Penrith. Get out to that early lead, demoralise them in front of their home crowd, and just hold on. And that's all they've done in the second half, Melbourne. It's exactly what I said. They will run out of gas. They just need to hold on defensively, and that's what they've done. They've completely shut the Panthers down. Panthers spent 15 or so minutes of that first half playing Harlem Globetrotter bollocks that they didn't need to do. Threw the game away, essentially, in those moments. But Melbourne have done nothing. I mean, has anyone else noticed that? Melbourne have done nothing on attack in the second half. They threw it all into the first half. They got out to that lead. We'll just dictate the second half on defence. Thomas, Ahoy, you feel for Ivan Cleary. I feel for Ivan Cleary too, because the players clearly haven't listened to him. I mean, obviously, I'm not a fly on the wall in the Panthers changing room. So I don't know what was said at halftime. I don't know what was said pre-game. All I can tell you is what I said pre-game. And that was, judging by the way that the Storm announced their lineup, they're throwing everything into the first half, and they will fade in the second. But they haven't played that way at all. The players are just out of shape throwing everything around. And I've been saying it for about 4 or 5 weeks now. Do not write the Storm off for this premiership. Do not. The only team in the top 8 so far that has 0% chance of winning is the Cowboys. It's still fair game for everybody else, except for maybe the Eels. Maybe the Eels are pretty close to 0% as well. But yeah, what a statement. What a statement for an understrength Melbourne team. And to be fair, it's an extremely understrength Penrith team as well. Like, let's not gloss over that fact. It's an extremely understrength Penrith team as well. But what a statement for Melbourne. Oh, yeah, you can go do... Yeah, absolutely. It's game over now, Michelle. Absolutely. They had their chances. Penrith had their chances. They've thrown away 3 tries already in the second half on the back of Melbourne's incredible understrength Melbourne. Okay, I appreciate, Michelle, that you don't follow the game anywhere near as intensely as I do. But to be here on the stream and call out that statement, I have to take extreme I have to take an extreme stance on that. Pappenhausen's out. Jahrome Hughes is out. Kafusi's out. Who else? They've got like 4 other guys out. Both teams are under strength tonight. Wow, Michelle's saying I'm the one on the pipe, claiming that the Storm are not under strength at the moment. I mean, I get that you hate them, but Jesus. I mean, there's hatred, and then there is just completely blind bias. So basically what you're saying is that the Panthers are not under strength tonight either. That's essentially what you're saying to me is Penrith are not under strength tonight either, despite missing Cleary and Dylan Edwards and Jarome Luai and Fisher Harris. Because I'm telling you, Cleary's the number 7. Okay? Melbourne Storm are without Jahrome Hughes. They're number 7. Fisher Harris is out. Okay, so is Kafusi. Pappenhausen's out. So is Dylan Edwards. How I don't get how it's blind bias when the team have stars everywhere. So do the Panthers. Panthers got stars everywhere too. Coruscant, Crichton, To'o, Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo. Anyways, welcome along. Fried Pickles, welcome along. Terrible time to arrive. Just a couple of co-hosts arguing. Yeah. Oh, look, I and I'm sure Michelle would even acknowledge herself. She doesn't necessarily follow along as intensely with like the news and whatnot. But wow, what a statement! What a statement! What a statement to say the Storm at the moment are not under strength. No, Angus Crichton, Michelle. Angus Crichton. Carrigan has got Angus Crichton's haircut. I really need to do like a side-by-side photo. A side-by-side of Pat Carrigan and Angus Crichton from a year ago. Wow. What a... as much as this is going to piss Michelle off, what an extreme premiership statement by the Storm tonight. Away from home, under strength. Granted, both teams are equally as under strength as each other. And I've been saying it for the past 4 or 5 weeks. Do not write these bastards off for the premiership. Write them off at your own peril. Melbourne are still very much in contention to win this goddamn thing. And when they get their players back, look out. Jonathan Manson, I think that's the only thing that everybody agrees on, is that the Cowboys will fade. As I said, the Cowboys are the only team in the top 8 at the moment that have an absolute 0% chance of winning the premiership. %0 chance. Too many mistakes, Robert, is what happened. They've already thrown away 3 tries. Look, the second half has been all Panthers territorially. This entire second half has been spent between the halfway line and the Storm goal line, and they've had multiple chances. They've just made a mistake. So they've thrown away at least 3 tries already in this second half. That's what happened to the Panthers coming back. Yeah, just horrendous. A horrendous display. Melbourne, Craig Bellamy, the super coach. You've got to give it to him. Craig Bellamy, super coach. Knew exactly what he was doing. Throwing all the reserves out there. He threw all the reserves out there and said, let's put the strongest team that we can possibly muster up on the paddock for this first half and throw everything into that first half. And then we will just come together as a unit and defend our guts out in the second. And that's exactly how it's transpired. He wouldn't have had that game plan if Cleary was there, Luai was there, Edwards was there, Fisher Harris was there. That would not have been his game plan. Guaranteed. But he saw the team that was presented in front of him for the night, and he went, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to play it. And it was an absolute masterclass. And the players went out there and carried out his plan to perfection. To absolute perfection. It's been the perfect performance. I've never seen a team... And look, once again, I'm not a fly on the wall. I'm not privy to what Melbourne's game plan was. I'm just making assumptions based on the team that they announced. As soon as they announced that squad and they moved all those reserves into the starting lineup, I knew what was coming. I knew the game plan. And they have just come out and put an absolute masterclass on in carrying that out. And look, again, 5th tackle, 30 metres out from their own line. They've had nothing on attack in this second half. Nothing. They threw everything into attack in the first half and went, we're just going to man up and defend for our life in the second. And it's exactly what they've done. And they've all stood up. They've all done their jobs. exactly as they needed to. And you've got to give the bastards credit. Love them or hate them, and we all know Michelle hates them with a passion, but you've got to give them credit. They're missing half their team as well. You know, just because they're playing a team missing half their guys as well doesn't make it less impressive. No, I'm sorry, Michelle. You've got to give credit. We're doing like a serious commentary thing here. Like we do sometimes have to put our bias aside and acknowledge when the pieces of shit that we hate actually do something good. And they did something very good tonight. We've got to give them credit for that. And once again, look at that defense. Look at that defense. Panthers threatening, as they have been all half, shut down 2 meters out from the line. Just an absolutely immaculate game plan from Craig Bellamy, carried out to perfection by his troops. Oh, Bobsy, you are cruising for a bruising here, pal. You are testing. You are on skating on thin ice tonight. I'm afraid to even say it, even though you're the one that wrote it, and I'm just repeating what you typed. I'm still afraid to say it. Oh, what happened last week? Michelle attacked you last week. What happened? See, you've got to appreciate that I often don't know what's going on. That's just a thing that we all have to acknowledge. I may not necessarily know what's going on from one moment to the next. That's what you get with the wasted world of sports, you know? Through the hands again here, the Panthers, and well, look at that. There is no way Melbourne only have 13. I'm sorry. There is no way Melbourne only have 13 players on the field. Not a goddamn chance. Not a goddamn chance. They ran it wide again. There were like 7 Melbourne jumpers there. In defense again. How can this possibly keep happening? I don't believe it. I do not believe for one moment Melbourne only have 13 players on the field. So, look at the Storm's run home. Maybe this explains something about Michelle's attitude tonight, because next week, her Broncos have got to come up against this Melbourne Storm juggernaut. I can understand why she might be a bit troubled. Brody, Holly, rest in peace, Paul Green. Yes. As much as I was anti-Paul Green when he was the coach of the Queensland Maroons, he used to play for my Sharkies back in the day. Not that matters. 49 is way too young, and we're starting to get way too close to home. I said this at the start of the stream, and this is something that Michelle and I may actually agree on tonight. 49 is starting to get way too bloody close to home. Some of these deaths, Shane Warne, Andrew Simons was a freak accident, of course. We still don't know exactly, I don't think, what's happened with Paul Green, but like Warney and Greeny, like these are starting to hit way too bloody close to home for my liking, as we continue to age. And yes, he did play for the Roosters as well. I think Paul Green played for Paul Green was Sharky's. He played for the Broncos too, I'm pretty sure, didn't he? Paul Green. Parramatta. Roosters. And I want to say somebody else. I want to say he had a fifth club in there as well. Oh, Jesus. Okay, see, I am not privy to the latest information. And, wow, that's, that really sucks to hear. Yeah. Yeah, that really sucks to hear. Back to some more, back to some slightly happier topics, I suppose. Yeah, I hadn't seen any updates. I started streaming, and yeah, here we are. that's the latest update I've had of anything. $16 points to 0, 2 minutes to go. They're still doing short dropouts, Melbourne, and not a single one has worked out in their favour tonight. And now the story of the night for the Panthers is, can they come up with any points at all? Any consolation points? Oh, there's going to be a fight, and what a surprise. No surprise that the cheese is involved. No surprise there that Brandon Smith's involved in this. James says, Dan, what's your view on the Ricky Stewart saga? Oh, just stupidity. Absolute, complete, and total stupidity on Ricky Stewart. I'm talking about. You just you don't do it. Like, Ricky Stewart has a history of saying stupid stuff in press conferences. I mean, I think he's the most fined coach. Is that right? I think that's a legitimate statistic that Ricky Stewart is the most fined coach. Was it a legit Yes, absolutely. Like, you can't do that. You cannot do that. You cannot. And how do you punish a coach? You know, obviously, monetary fines is not working, because at the end of the day, the club just comes in and says, "Look, we'll pay it." That's the problem, you know, and that's why this one was specifically NRL said, no, this has to come out of Ricky's pocket. All the rest of the fines, I think you will find that they were paid by the club. And look, I think you'll find that this one gets paid by the club as well. And that's why I think the suspension had to happen too. They can pay his fine off the books. It doesn't matter, you know. Doesn't matter. I think you'll find that they end up paying the fine. You can't say stuff like that. You cannot come out in a press conference and personally attack an opposition player. You just can't do it. It's just stupid. It's pointless. And you know, yeah, I personally think 1 week was probably a bit too lenient, in my opinion, for a guy who's got history, not necessarily a history of personally attacking opposition players, but for a coach who's got history of just always saying the wrong thing, you know? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Matty John's show live. Some updates. Okay. You think a week's suspension was harsh, James? But how do you penalize a coach? That's the thing. Like, this is the problem, and this is what I was saying. You can't penalize a coach monetarily because who cares? The club's just going to pay it. The club's going to pay this one as well. Michelle says, if old mate Salmon was a dick to his son and disabled daughter, then yeah, I'd likely say my piece too. Well, again, we've got Michelle and I have to disagree tonight. Seems like the theme of the night. Yeah, let's bring up a what was it, 12 years ago? Let's bring up a 12-year-old scenario in a press conference when your team's just been absolutely fucking bulldozed. No, wrong time, completely wrong time. That is not an excuse at all. That is absolutely no excuse at all. Let's bring this up 12 years later in a press conference over an accident. Uh, 12 years. How do you remember 12 days? Well, because this story's been around for less than 12 days, Michelle. And it was Gus Gould who said it was like 12 years ago this incident happened. This grudge was born like 12 years ago. And it was less than 12 days ago that Gus said that, and that's why I remember. So, thank you. Thank you. So basically, he's had 12 years to get over this, and he's decided now, on the back of getting thumped by an understrength Panthers team, to knock his team out of the finals. He's decided now's the moment to... No, I'm sorry. A week is too lenient. Regardless of what happened 12 years ago. I'm sorry, we're just going to have to agree to disagree there. He's had 12 years to air this grievance. And it just seems like sour grapes, like, oh, I'm pissy now because my team just lost. So I'm going to take this moment to have a cheap shot over something that happened back when our kids were literally kids. No, there is absolutely no defense. Love him or hate him, love the Raiders, hate the Raiders. There is absolutely no defense for what Ricky Stewart did. And I'm sorry, but the only way to punish a coach is to suspend them from the game. You can't fine them with money because the club just pays it. Who cares? And just because the NRL has come out and said, oh, Ricky Stewart has got to pay this money personally, Ricky Stewart's not paying that money personally. Ricky Stewart is not paying that personally. The club is paying that fine. They will find a way to pay that off the books. Ricky Stewart is not out of pocket at all in this scenario. So the only way to make sure that there's actually a punishment, suspend him. I think a week was too lenient. It should have been more. So you send the message to the other coaches. Saying stuff about the referee is one thing, but like taking personal shots against an opposition player for something that happened so long ago. Yeah, wow. Distinct Viper. Ahoy. Cop that, Penrith fans. I don't think the Penrith fans are going to be too disappointed, mate. minor premiers, reigning premiers. They're going to win the minor premiership again this year. Yeah, I don't think Penrith fans are going to be too upset, really, in the long run. What other games am I doing this week? Let's see. I'm going to be out a lot this week. I'm out tomorrow. I'm out Saturday. No, I won't be. I won't be back for the Eels Rabbitohs game. Saturday I'm going to be out. Sunday we've got a couple of games for the Who Cares Cup. Raiders, Dragons, Titans, Manly. No, Vobsy on Saturday. I'm off to see Leno and Woodley. There will be no streams. There'll actually be no streams this weekend. So tomorrow night, I'm out. And then Saturday night, I'm off to see Leno and Woodley. I realise the Roosters Cowboys game is in the afternoon, but I'll be busy getting ready and whatnot. So, I probably won't even be able to do any of the rugby. To be honest. So that's probably it. That's actually probably it for this weekend, as far as Wasted Water Sports goes. This game tonight was the big one. And, yeah. Yeah, so, look, it is what it is. How good was the Leno Woodley show? Oh, yeah, so good. I'm so excited to see them live. They're doing a live rendition of Moby Dick. Like, that's their show at the moment on tour. So it's going to be very interesting. Yep. So I will be sure to let you guys know all the things I do and all the things I see from my experience on the weekend. And if you got the inside reference there, then you are truly fans of Leno and Woodley. Terrible games next round. Really? What's happening next round? What's on next round? Oh, God, I hate the... Can we all agree that the NRL website is atrocious? Now, I'm a web developer. I would love to get hold of the NRL website. It is just so bad. Next round, we've got the women's NRL coming into the tipping contest. Well, Jesus, that's going to sort me out good and proper because I don't follow the women's NRL in the slightest. That's really going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, as they say. All right, so we've got Thursday night footy. Rabbitohs, Panthers. That'll be a big one. Interesting. This is very interesting. On the back of tonight, the Panthers are now the outsiders in that game. Very interesting. We've got the Cowgirls against the Warriors on Friday night in the Who Cares Cup. No premiership credentials amongst either of those teams, so I'll skip that one. Friday night, Broncos Storm at Suncorp Stadium. Oh, we've got to do that one. The understrength Storm against the Broncos on their home turf. It'll be 80 minutes of me trying to convince Michelle that the Storm are actually under strength. Trying to literally define to her what under strength means. Just because they still have stars in their team doesn't mean they're not under strength. Saturday, Parramatta Bulldogs in the Who Cares Cup. Saturday, Manly Sharks. That's a huge one. Big game for the Sharks. I mean, the Sharks are qualified for the top 8, regardless, but a little bit of a hoodoo team. Manly have broken my heart so many times over the years in finals footy. This is obviously not finals footy, but this could be a big 2 points in the context of the Sharks season and the top 4. Then we've got Saturday also, Roosters Tigers. Sunday, Dragons Titans. And Knights Raiders. Sunday in the Who Cares Cup again next weekend. There's no good games. Well, actually, Panthers Rabbitohs is a good game. That's the only good game next weekend. Who said there were good games next weekend? Who's the cheeky sod that said there's good games next round? Terrible games. Things start to pick up again for round 24, I think. Broncos Eels at Suncorp should be a good one. The Eels have got a good record at Suncorp. Storm Roosters, that'll be massive now. Now that the Storm have signalled their intent on the back of tonight, that's a big game, actually. That's huge. And that's going to be a massive game for the Roosters. Wow. So, yeah, we will definitely do that one. Friday the 26th. 26th. Storm Roosters. That's a massive game. And that could potentially be the Roosters season. Raiders Manly, Who Cares Cup. Sharks Bulldogs. That's another banana skin game for the Sharkies. Rabbitohs Cowboys. I've got to do that one. Saturday the 27th. Rabbitohs Cowboys. I've got to do that game because I will just love nothing more than streaming the beginning of the end for the Cowboys. And it starts with that game. Saturday 27th, 7:35 p.m. Rabbitohs at home against the Cowgirls. The beginning of the end of their season. Yeah, so pretty much there's not great games coming up between now and finals time, really, if we're being honest. There's enough to sort of keep us interested, but nothing huge. All right. Well, I'm going to go. So thank you very much for joining me for this one. I'm completely screwed in the tipping contest. You know, I did not know that the women's NRL was going to be included in the tipping contest. I actually did not know. I honestly didn't know. That has thrown such a spinner in the works. Because, and look, it's genius. It's genius on the NRL's behalf. Absolute genius. Put the women's comp in the tipping contest so that people who take the tipping contest seriously might start showing an interest in the women's game. Genius promotion on their behalf. But I don't watch it. I don't follow it. I personally All right, I let's save controversial statements for another night. But yeah, long story short, I'm absolutely buggered once the women's NRL comes into the tipping contest in a couple of weeks. Completely screwed. All right. Oh, James says, are you starting the quarry again? No. My very good friend, long-time subscriber, the Rick Grimes, is I need to touch base with him actually. He's actually going to play through the game, matching the choices that I made to get us back to the point before Brenda Song dies, so that I can carry on the gameplay with her still alive. He's been an absolute champion. I said to him, mate, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. We can just press on, and I will accept the fate of the characters, and we can just press on. But he's like, no, it's no trouble. So, oh, excuse me. So yes, we don't need to restart. We can carry on from a little bit before, when Brenda Song is still alive, and I'll probably kill her all over again. To be fair, I'll probably make all the decisions wrong and get her killed again, and then we'll be back to square one. But I mean, that's part of the fun of it, isn't it? All right. Wasted World of Sports, thank you so much for joining me for this one. We've got some really cool stuff in the works moving forward, but now is probably not the time to share some of that stuff with you. So, if Michelle's still there, are we going to do the T20 World Cup? We can talk about that offline anyway. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate your company as always. And I will catch you next time. Cheers. Okay, there's supposed to be some outro music. Okay. It helps if you press play. All right. Cheers.